Next on my list, Bleacher Report released a top 100 players ever to play in the NBA. There are some very, very interesting things on that list. The most interesting, the thing that has been putting people in the uproar the most is Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace to the Black Mamba. Coming in at number 11. So let's talk about that. Yeah, that's what I said. Kobe Bryant is number 11 on this list. So I'm gonna go through the top 10. I don't know 10 basketball players better than Kobe Bryant. Me personally, from what I've seen, from doing research, from being a basketball junkie, from going back and watching old games, old films, from looking at stats, from trying to find each and every detail on interviews from YouTube, from Jordan to Magic to Bird to the greatest evers, to watching every doc imaginable on basketball, to asking my dad and people that came before me about the game and how it was played and what's the difference now and who were some of the great players and who's the underrated players. I've had all those conversations before. That's what I love to do. That's how I live. I live by watching this game. Basketball. I love to play. I love to watch. I love to be a part of the game. So me personally, I ain't seen 10 players better than Kobe Bryant. But I'm wearing the Mamba shirt. He's my favorite player ever. I have to be objective to be taken seriously, not just pick my favorites, but be able to have objective conversations when it comes to the sport I love, when it comes to telling a story about the sport I love, when it comes to reporting on the sport I love. I have to take favoritism out of it and be objective when I'm talking about it. Objectively, I still don't know if there's 10 better players than Kobe Bryant. But let's go through the list. Let's talk about them. And let's see. Number 1 on the list. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Ladies and gentlemen, we never seen anything like him. We will never see anything like him again. The NBA was saved by Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, which they're on this list, and we'll get to them in their respective slots. But for backstory on the NBA was on tape delay, had to be saved. Magic and Bird come in 79, transformed the game throughout the 80s. But there was a person that was drafted in 84 who by the time it was his time to win at a high level and dominate the game and take the game to a global level and become this entity that will be talked about for generations and generations to come. People want to say it was the marketing. Yes, he got all the marketing dollars. He deserved every one of them. Because when we talk about that stuff, when we talk about the global icon Michael Jordan is, when we talk about the global iconic brand and business the NBA became because of him in the 90s, what he ushered into the NBA. The on-court numbers, the on-court winning, the on-court everything matches up to who he is off the court. 30-point per game average for his career. That's counting those Wizards days. In his peak and in those greatness and in those 90s, the greatest peak and the greatest period of domination we ever seen in the sport. Win 3, heralded as the greatest player of all time after the third championship, retires, comes back at 45, gets his rock stolen by, what was my boy on the Magic, Nick Anderson? Gets his rock stolen by Nick Anderson, then comes back and dominates again with another three-peat. We never seen a higher peak in the game of basketball than what Michael Jordan displayed on the basketball court night in, night out. 10 scoring titles, something like that. 46-inch vertical. They called him Black Jesus. Couldn't nobody in his era mess with him. 6-0 in the finals. 72-10 Bulls, and then win the championship. Don't mean no thing without a ring. Five-time MVP. 11-time All-NBA. 14-time All-Star. 9-time All-Defense. DPOY. 36-5 with 2 steals a game on 49.7% field goal percentage. There's no case. There's no case. There's no case. I'm sorry. Now, the guy at number 2, I'll entertain the conversation. Bleacher Report has 1 and 2 correct for my ranking and how I see the game. Number 1 and 2 are correct. But when it comes to that numero uno, we'll have that conversation to the end of time. Who is the greatest basketball player you ever seen? I will entertain it. LeBron James deserves to be in the conversation along with Kareem. There's people that deserve to be in these conversations. But numero uno? Got to be that guy in Chicago, number 23. Number 2 on the list, LeBron James. Comes in as an 18-year-old. 25-5 his first year, I believe. 25 his first game against Sacramento, I believe. First stint in Cleveland, really didn't have anybody on his team. Takes a team with Zruginis Ilgauskas. Ain't said his name in a minute, so I don't even remember how to say it. Drew Gooden, Daniel Gibson. Who else was on that team? Larry Hughes, maybe? Takes that team to the finals in 2007 as a 22-year-old. Scores 29 out of his team's last 30 points as a 22-year-old. Loses that finals, but what can you expect? Doesn't have anybody on his team, and you're facing Tim Duncan and the Spurs. Probably the best we seen Tony Parker at that time. Manu was really good. Manu Ginobili. Tim Duncan, Mr. Consistent, Mr. Big Fundamental, greatest power forward ever. We don't expect you to win that '07, but to make it to the finals that young was very, very impressive, even if you were in the East. You had to get through a Detroit team that had made finals in back-to-back years, had won a championship. Some players on that team. Yes, they were getting older, and yes, they were not the same team, but it shows you what a 22-year-old LeBron James does. LeBron James hits another stride around 08, 09 individually. But I would say those Cavs teams, when it came to Eastern Conference, when it came to rankings, I remember, I think it was 2010 or it was 2009, those Cavs won 66 games. But in all actuality, the main reason, even though Mo Williams was an all-star, he had come to team up with LeBron. Those teams weren't great teams. Those weren't great teams. They won 66 games. LeBron James, MVP. 09. Triple-double man. Kobe and LeBron puppet commercials on TV. But this is this man's body of work at a young, very, very young age, still trying to figure out how to win. He's not that player yet, but damn good. Me thinking about that first stint in Cleveland for LeBron. Individual domination from a freak of an athlete we had never seen before. 6'8", 250, 260, can move like crazy, can jump out the gym. Kind of got to work on that jumper. But's a freak athlete and can play multiple positions. We've never seen anything like LeBron James that big and strong and fast before on a basketball court. Moving like a point guard. Jumping like Jordan. Like, what's going on, yo? Freak athlete. I'm only talking about the first stint right now. I'm not talking about the all-time leading scorer guy. I'm not talking about none of that. I'm talking about the first stint in Cleveland was incredible to see. I was a Kobe fan back at that time, a very, very young Kobe fan, so we had to pick the Kobe LeBron thing. And of course, I think Kobe Bryant was the better overall player at that time. Kobe Bryant was just edging out of his prime. More complete player, just knew more. Played in more high-pressure games, just knew how to do it at a higher and grander level. But LeBron James was who LeBron James was. Makes a decision in 2010 after losing to Boston in the semifinals, I believe. Makes a decision to go to Miami, which was not a popular one. And we can talk about all that at a later time because I want to get through this list. But I really wanted to explain this 1-2 thing because I just feel like it was a growing and building thing with LeBron throughout his illustrious 22, 23 years that he's played. Where it just feel like Jordan just caught your eye and had something else in him. Two different players could get the job done two different ways. But the Miami Heat tenure that LeBron James had, One of the best teams we ever seen. Him, D-Wade, Chris Bosh. Ray Allen soon joins them after for the second championship. They beat the Spurs in 7 games in 2013, beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, a young Thunder squad, in the first championship in 2012. And through all that, LeBron James is the best player. LeBron James figures out ways to win at the highest of high levels. When there were doubts about LeBron James after a 2011 fiasco in the NBA Finals, a big blemish on how you can rank him above Jordan was the 2011 Finals. But after that, come back and bounce back to win back-to-back. You got to give him credit for that. You have to give LeBron James credit for that. Loses in 2014. So remember, guys, I said he went to the finals in 11, 1 in 12, 1 in 13. Goes back to the finals in 14, loses to the Spurs. Goes back to Cleveland. Partners with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. Kevin Love gets hurt in the playoffs. Goes back to the finals in 2015. Kyrie Irving gets hurt. Believe averages 36 or 38 that series. Next year, comes back from a 3-1 deficit. Yes, Draymond Green got suspended. Yes, the Warriors are banged up. But nonetheless, you have to play the games. And they got a ring. Like, you can't just stop the NBA Finals because people get hurt and Draymond Green wants to kick people. Wins that championship. Goes back to the finals again. No Kyrie Irving. Oh, my bad. 17, you go back with Kyrie to repeat. Then Kyrie leaves. 18, you put your best individual performance I've ever seen from you. And this is kind of where 18 to me is kind of where LeBron really gets and solidifies that 2 spot in all-time rankings. Because his, 2018 Bron is amazing. 51, 8-8 in the first game and should have won the game if it wasn't for the J.R. Smith blunder. J.R. Smith might have ruined LeBron James' best individual game. People might say that game with Boston where he scored 45, but that 51, 8-8, I had never seen Bron play like that. In a high leverage game like that, that was an incredible thing to witness as a basketball fan. (2018) goes back to the finals, 9 straight finals. Crazy. That's what I'm alluding to. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Or 8, whatever. Then goes to Los Angeles in 2019. They get AD in 2020, wins another championship in the bubble, and still is moving and being an exceptional player, a top 5 player at his age. 23 years of complete and utter greatness we have watched and witnessed from LeBron James. He was born to be the basketball player he is. But he's number 2 on the list. He's number 2 on the list. Number 2 on the list. He ain't number 1. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. He ain't number 1. Number 3, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Best center ever. 6-time champion. 6-time MVP. 2 times finals MVP. 15-time All-NBA. 19-time All-Star. 11-time All-Defense. Rookie of the Year. 2 scoring titles. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Not only Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to me has an exceptional NBA resume, but when you look at Kareem in the totality of high school, college, and the NBA and the pros, like maybe the greatest resume you've ever seen. That's what Kareem exemplified. He was the all-time leading scorer at a time where we thought that record would never have been broken. He has an unstoppable move that people even today find it hard to emulate. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won a championship with Oscar Robertson and the Milwaukee Bucks before moving on to Los Angeles and teaming up with Magic Johnson to win 5 more. But the resume speaks for itself when it comes to Kareem, when it comes to the domination, when it comes to putting your resume up with anybody. You can't really argue Kareem at the third spot. There's people I can say are better than him, but when we're talking about peak greatness, Kareem was out here killing fools. That's why he's number 3 on this list. Number 4, Magic Johnson, maybe the greatest leader of all time. 5-time champion, 3-time MVP, 3-time Finals MVP, 12-time All-Star, 10-time All-NBA, 4-time assist champion, and 2 times steal champion. Best point guard ever, in my opinion. It's not close. It's not close. When it comes to, I go back and watch old games, and like the things I love about basketball are the things maybe people don't see all the time. And when I'm watching somebody like Magic, it's more so like watching like a Jason Kidd, watching maybe a Rajon Rondo, maybe watching a Chris Paul to an extent, even though Chris Paul can score. Those guys are not the scorers per se. They're not the Chris Paul, yes, was the number 1 option, but like Chris Paul had Blake Griffin, like you're getting people involved. Like you're not always the number 1 priority. You're not the first guy to shoot the ball. At times you're trying to get other people involved. You're a pass first point guard. Pass first facilitator. It's so impressive to me how a guy like Magic and some of the guys that I named, and Magic is probably the best example of this, are able to get games home without scoring. You impact the game so much. LeBron has some of this too, but LeBron scores too. But you have so much impact on this game with your thought, with your process, with your IQ, with getting great shot selections for other people, with maintaining flow and pace of games. Like you're operating on this way higher frequency than everybody else, and that's your superpower. It's like Batman versus all the rest of the superheroes. They got like superhuman strength, like they got jumping abilities, like all the other guys have these great attributes. Like Larry's a great shooter, Bron's a great athlete, Jordan's a great athlete. But somebody like Magic, 6'9", did the fast break thing, dumped the ball into Kareem when he needed it. But to be able to think the game and decide outcomes of games using your brain and getting the best shot on the other end and knowing when to do exactly what you need to do, that's a lost art. And I think Magic Johnson sometimes is underappreciated in the modern game because he didn't shoot threes or he didn't dunk the ball. He dunked. He sure did dunk. But he didn't have no crazy posters like that. If it was just one hand on somebody, if Magic was coming down the lane. But greatest point guard of all time, 5-time champion. Along with Larry Bird, saved the NBA. What more can I say about Magic Johnson? Go point guard. Bill Russell at number 5. 11-time champion, 5-time MVP, 11-time All NBA, 12-time NBA All Star. Most dominant era in the NBA. A guy winning 11 championships. A team winning that many in the times that they had to. We honor Bill Russell for what he endured. If it wasn't for somebody like Bill Russell, we wouldn't have the NBA be how it is and how it has been for the time being. We see a lot of the great players herald Bill Russell, and we should do the same when we're talking about Bill Russells and having discussions. We should always have that antidote and have that note in the back of our minds about what Bill Russell had to endure in Boston during that time. For what he did for the NBA during that time. First ever player coach during that time. Bill Russell won. Bill Russell led. Bill Russell was inspirational. Bill Russell was culture moving. Bill Russell cared about his people. So it's bigger than on court and, you know, what you're doing on the court. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than basketball. It's about livelihood. And Bill Russell exemplified that with also winning 11 NBA championships during his time. So you have to give Bill Russell that credit. 1,000% have to give Bill Russell that credit. Moving on, Shaquille O'Neal, 4-time champion, 1-time MVP, 3 times Finals MVP, Rookie of the Year, 14 All NBAs, 15-time All-Star. Yes, yes, yes. The most dominant force we ever seen. I ever seen in my lifetime. There's nothing more dominant than who Shaquille O'Neal was. I remember asking one of my old bosses who had season tickets to Kings games back in those dynasty years for the Los Angeles Lakers, where they won 3 straight championships and faced the Kings a lot during those playoff series. I just asked him, what did he remember about Shaq? And he was just like, the brute force and dominance, just how big that guy was insane and crazy. You had to have another center on your roster just to contain him. So Shaq at number 6. We're going to talk about that. We'll double back at Shaq at 6. We'll definitely double back at Shaq at 6. Timmy at 7. Tim Duncan, Mr. Fundamental. 5-time champion, 2-time MVP, 3 times final MVP, 15-time All-NBA, 15-time All-Star, 15-time All-Defense. Sheesh. When it comes to longevity and careers, before we saw what LeBron James was doing, I think Steph and KD now too, before we saw what them cats were doing with modern technology and all the taking care of your bodies and having more information and stuff like that, to have a career that spanned it as long as Tim Duncan's did, I think was a career that people would probably should, if they didn't already, but should look to and say, this is how I want to mature. I feel like Tim, more like Brady in a sense, matured with certain decisions and with team and made decisions that were only good for the team and not for himself. Like, Tim would always take less money. Tim made sure that the team had enough in order for the team to do what they needed to do to build around Tim Duncan. Like, Tim always was forward thinking in those movements, and so was Tom Brady during his time with the Patriots. So I think I find the similarities in that, and I kind of find the similarities in the culture as well, how Belichick would run things versus how Popovich would. I'm going to yell at the best player. I'm going to say, Tom, what the F you're doing? I'm going to say, Tim, what the F you're doing? And that's going to make an example that I'm yelling at the best player. I'm holding him accountable, so I'm holding the rest of you guys accountable. This is the best power forward of all time. Tim Duncan's resume speaks for himself. But I got to double back to him, too. Let me double back. I'm going to double back to Tim. I'm going to double back. I'm giving everybody his credit. I'm just reading this list right now. Larry Bird. 3 straight MVPs. Yep. Three straight MVPs for Larry Bird, 3-time champion, 2 times Finals MVP, Rookie of the Year, 12-time All-Star, 10 times All-NBA. I think it was a cool fact that I learned when I first like researching the NBA and just talking about the NBA and just loving the game for what it was. It was very, very impressive to me that Bird averaged 10 rebounds a game. That's a very, very that's a very, very impressive stat, if I do say so myself. 24 and 10 for a career. Like we were talking about with Magic, somebody who saved the NBA from being on tape delay. Yes, we had the white and black thing, but Larry Bird and Magic Johnson were so great in their own rights that their greatness is the thing that sold everybody over anything else. That's why I didn't like the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark comparisons, because it's like, yeah, y'all can do y'all own thing, and what you guys are doing for the WNBA is so dope and iconic, and it's history making and it's pushing stuff forward and stuff like that. But Larry and Magic are top 10 players of all time. They're just special. What we saw on the court, Larry Bird's passing ability, Larry Bird's shooting ability. I remember it was one game where he had the other bench going crazy. Some of the shots he was making was just ridiculous. Being able to use both hands, Larry Bird, like just a gifted scorer, passer, and player of this game. Not the most athletic guy. Had a bad back, but could get the job done and didn't complain about it either. Had some great teams around him. Cedric Maxwell, Finals MVP of the first ring, but he is the Finals MVP of the other 2 rings that he has. Larry Bird, I believe, solidified himself in the top 10 as well. Y'all can argue. Number 9, Wilt Chamberlain. 2-time champion, 4-time MVP, 1-time Finals MVP, 10-time All-NBA, 13-time All-Star, 7 scoring titles, 2 All-Defense, 30 points a game. Is this his career? Is his career 30 and 22? Hold on. Is Wilt Chamberlain's career 30 and 22? Or is this a typo, bro? Yeah, his stats are 30 and 22. Wow. It's actually still just amazing to think about somebody averaging that. Those numbers don't even seem real when you're actually talking about them. But we doubled back to Larry too. If I didn't say so, we doubled him back to Larry too. But Wilt, number 9. What more can I say about Wilt? Domination. Had a 50 point per. He averaged 50 points in a season before. 25 rebounds, I believe. The same season, 50 and 25, crazy. Wilt Chamberlain has some of the craziest numbers that we ever seen in the NBA, probably. 1 championship. I think that's why you have him 9 and you have Bill Russell 5. It's interesting to see the highest top 100 rankings and the lowest top 100 rankings that are on every page and on every player. His highest top 100 ranking was 4. His lowest top 100 ranking is 11. I'm not going to say I don't know if you have to put Wilt in the top 10. It's just hard, especially for that era where there's not really a lot of film and things out there, and you're not really the winner that some of the other guys were. It's hard to handicap you for that. Like, we have Jerry West too, which, I mean, he's not in the top 10. He's one of the greatest players of all time. But he has a chip. Went to the finals 7 times, I believe, and only won once. That's something that really, really haunted him, his life. And when you're looking back at Wilt Chamberlain and you're looking at how dominant those numbers are, I guess you can say he can be in the top 10. I guess you can say he will be in the top 10, but I would probably take a Kareem and a Shaq over him. So I get their rankings of them over them, but I mean, if I'm taking Kareem and Shaq over Wilt and he's number 9, we going to have to double back to him too. Number 10, the light-skinned assassin, Steph Curry. 4-time champion, 2-time MVP, 1-time Finals MVP, 11-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA, 2-time scoring title, a steal champion. I didn't know he had that steal champion on his resume. That's very, very impressive. Key stats: 24, 4, and 6. Wow. With a steal and a half a game on 47 and 42 from the 3. Best shooter we ever seen. Best shooter maybe we will ever see. Special in that right. Totally transformed the game of basketball. We know the NBA is a copycat league, for better or for worse. Sometimes for worse. And the way the game is played now is totally on the shoulders of the Steph Curry led Golden State Warriors and how they played the game. Do I think Steph should have 2 Finals MVPs instead of 1? You could say that. They gave it to Andre Iguodala. So think about 4 and 2. Kevin Durant comes for the other 2 championships. One of the most dominant teams we've ever seen. When Steph Curry's your second best player, you're doing something right. He was really great in the finals where Bron was by himself, which is like Bron was really by himself. But Steph Curry changed the game. One of my favorite players to ever watch, played a game of basketball. Dynamic player from his 3-point shot. Dribble. Can pass. Has it all. Is he a top 10 player, though? I mean, he's in my personal top 10, yes. And people did start having those conversations after his 4th championship. I think that's all people needed to see. So it's like, what's going to happen when he tells, like, how long is Steph going to play still? And where can he go in the top 10 ranking as he moves? Last thing on Steph, though, like I was talking about the highest ranking in the top 100 and the lowest ranking in the top 100, he was ranked as high as 4. Steph Curry was ranked as high as 4 on this list and as low as 13. I would like to have a conversation with somebody who put Steph at 4, realistically. I would really like to have a conversation. So, Bleacher Report, panel of experts. I just want to have a conversation. I just want to see your thought process of why you think Steph Curry is a top 4 player of all time, and then we can talk about stuff. Got to double back to him. Number 11 on the list, and like I said, I'm wearing my Mamba shirt today. Kobe Bryant. The Black Mamba, 5-time champion, 1-time MVP, 2 times Finals MVP, 18-time All-Star, 15-time All-NBA, 12-time All-Defense, 2-time scoring champ. Kobe Bryant is the 11th best player on a Bleacher Report ranking? Number 11? Comes in the league as a 17-year-old. Gets drafted by Charlotte, traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. Jerry West watches a workout of Kobe Bryant and says he's going to be one of the best players ever. That's what he tells owner Jerry Buss. That's what he tells Shaq when he acquires Shaq the same offseason. He says, hey, I just drafted this kid from Philly, Lower Merion High School. His name is Kobe Bryant. We gonna pair him with you, and y'all gonna win championships. That's what he's telling Shaq in '96. Those are the words coming out of Jerry West's mouth, one of the greatest players of the game and one of the best executives of the game. Saw a gem in Kobe Bryant when he was 17 years old. His career didn't start with him like the likes of LeBron James or even a Michael Jordan. He was on the bench. Dale Harris had that man on the bench. The Lakers also had some great other young stars. Nick Van Exel, Eddie Jones. Guys that were going to play before Kobe Bryant because they had been there. Now with Shaq, it's time to win. Is this guy ready for it? Kobe Bryant goes into the playoffs against the Utah Jazz. Shoots air balls. 2 or 3 of them. Humiliates himself. Puts his head down. People laughing at him. Shaq puts his hand over him. Says it's going to be okay, young fella. There's something in number 8 at the time. There's something in Mr. Kobe Bryant at the time where he comes back, gets stronger, works harder, grows that fro out. Eddie Jones, Nick Van Exel are going now. Phil Jackson comes into the party. And it's time for Kobe and Shaq together to dominate. Yes, Shaq most dominant force at the time. Yes, Shaq was the number 1 option on those teams. But can y'all tell me about a second championship that y'all not looking around and saying, this Kobe Bryant right now, by that second one and definitely by the third one, especially we can look at finals numbers, we can look at whatever. I think that Shaq deserved those 3 finals MVPs 1,000%, but let's look at those numbers throughout those playoffs. We're talking about Kobe Bryant. Let's talk about some of those series versus the Spurs when Kobe was really, really young still at 22 doing crazy stuff. He had something in him where he needed to work harder. And that's where the rift between him and Shaq came from. Goes on. Shaq finally departs from the team. It's Kobe's team now. Misses the playoffs in 05. Comes back in 06, makes the playoffs, 81 points, 62 points in 3 quarters, 4 straight 50-point games, 35-point per game average. And all the talk of the people that were in his category as a player, the Tracy McGrady's, the Ray Allens, the Allen Iversons of the world, the Vince Carters of the world. By that time, there's no discussion. Then I go win 2 more. I'm not done yet. My legacy is not done yet. What I did for this game is not done yet. What I have to do in this game is not done yet. They acquired Pau Gasol in 2007-2008 season. They go to the finals, lose to the Celtics. Kobe Bryant comes back with that team, wins the finals, comes back. I want my payback and my lick back on the Celtics for my Laker greatness. As far as my individual greatness. I need that Celtics lick back. Scores 10 fourth quarter points. 23 for the game. Bad shooting night, but it's still effective. 15 rebounds in game 7. Tremendous defense. Doing the little things to win. And I get my 5th championship. 3 years later, I'm playing Some of the best basketball of my career. We look at that 2013 Kobe Bryant year when he tore his Achilles. When we look at his field goal percentage, when we look at his points per game average, it didn't look like he was slowing down at the time. The marriage with Dwight Howard didn't work like it was supposed to. Dwight just coming off back surgery, other things going on with him, new team. 27 and 46% field goal percentage, I believe, for Kobe Bean Bryant at the time. That year, tears his Achilles, and Kobe, as we knew him, was gone. But from that span from 2000 to 2013, you're going to tell me that there's 10 players, 10 players better than Kobe Bryant from that 2000 to 2013 stretch? Stop. Please stop. Y'all remember how I said I was going to double back, right? Y'all remember how I said I was going to double back on all these players? I was saying that we're going to double back on this. Let's start with Shaq. I'm looking at this Bleacher Report's top 100 list, and I'm asking myself a question. Is Kobe Bryant not better than Shaquille O'Neal? They played together 1A, 1B for 3 of those championships. Yes, Shaq has 3 of those finals MVPs. But what are we saying after the 3 championships? What are we saying about Shaq? Before those 3 championships, what are we saying about Shaq? Shaq had Penny Hardaway and a great Orlando team. They went to the finals, lost. There was a small rift with Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway at that time. Shaq goes to LA, wins 3 championships with Kobe Bryant, leaves LA, yes, most dominant force, yes, brute force of nature, yes, Superman, yes, all these things. Goes to Miami after that, does win a championship with D-Wade in 2006, but let's remember how that series went. The Miami Heat were down 2-1. The Miami Heat were down that game and we're going to lose. They were down double digits the game and we're about to be down 3-1. Dwayne Wade, the third-year player, goes ballistic. Ready for the moment. Dominates that Dallas Mavericks team and those rest of those NBA Finals games. And at the end of it, he's hosting up that NBA Finals MVP trophy. Deservingly so. He's number 1 option for the Miami Heat by a long shot. Deservingly so. Shaq didn't average a lot in that finals. So after 06, 07, we going to 08, 09. You want to go to 08 and 09 when Shaq went to the Suns? Was that guy effective for Phoenix? Let's look at Shaquille O'Neal's career after that 2006 championship. Shaquille. Two 2006 was the last time, and great career. I believe came in '93. So coming in at 93, dominate like he did, one of the greatest players of all time, yes. But I'm asking you, is he better than Kobe Bean Bryant? Is this guy individually better than Kobe Bean Bryant? Did not win before he met Kobe. Won after Kobe, but was not the main ingredient of that. Y'all can't tell me about them 2006 finals. That was all D Wade on that. So now all of a sudden he's better than Kobe? Let's look at Shaq after that 2006 finals, because I'm going to give him that one. He has 4 now. 4 of them things. After getting 3 with Kobe, 4 of them things. 2006 to 2008, final years in Miami. Averaged 17 to 14 points per game. Missed a lot of games with injuries. 08, 09. Yeah, 17 points a game. I remember that. Like 17 and 10 maybe. The All-Star game with him and Kobe in 09. I remember that as a fan of hoops. But that's the guy you're telling me is more effective? Is that the guy y'all telling me is more effective than Kobe? What about when he joined LeBron James in 2009, 2010? Was that Shaq somewhere or something that we wanted to talk about? What about his Boston Celtics stint where Charles Barkley jokingly says he got shot while he was running up the court? So big at the time, older. It was time to hang it up, and Boston Celtics were his last stop. But tell me where he was effective in any of those last places after that championship. Because I can tell you what Kobe Bryant did after he left Shaq. And yes, Shaq is older. But from being 1B to being a dominant scoring entity to being a 2-time back-to-back champion, now having 5 championships over Shaquille O'Neal's 4 championships, being the main ingredient in his last 2 championships, being the Finals MVP in his last 2 championships, the championships that Shaq won, D Wade was the Finals MVP. Please tell me where y'all are getting Shaq is better overall, a better overall player than Kobe Bean Bryant. Because of those dominant years, are y'all telling me it's just the peak years? If that's what it is, let me know. Because in my book, there ain't no way Shaq's a better basketball player than Kobe Bryant. And that's to say, I think that Kobe and Shaq have probably the same amount of productive years. But Kobe over Shaq is an argument needed to be had, and I don't think enough people are having it. Especially with this, I would have won, 3 chips with Tracy, or this would have happened, that would have, these hypothetical situations. Tracy McGrady was a great player, but Kobe Bryant has showed people over time he separated himself from his whole generation. And Shaq, yes, came in 93, and he did in 96. And Shaq is older than him. But player for player, give me Kobe Bryant. Thank you very much. We circling back, though. We circling back. And I started with 6. I left the top 5 alone. But if you're going to say that Kobe Bryant is not a top 10 basketball player, there's just some questions there's some questions y'all need to answer for me. Tim Duncan, it's your turn, sir. When did the narrative start that Tim Duncan was better than Kobe Bryant? At least that it's not an argument. This is my problem with these lists. This is my problem when I'm talking basketball with certain people. When were these conclusions like? When was this Tim Duncan thing a foregone conclusion with Kobe Bryant? Somebody please let me know where you have Tim slotted at 7 and you have Kobe at 11. Another thing with the Shaq thing. Can you really say that it's handicapped Kobe or handicapped Shaq, either of them, with playing with each other when you got damn Kareem and Magic at the 3rd and 4th spot? And they played together. And I would argue a three-peat, the Kobe and Shaq team was more dominant. Can you imagine if a Kobe and Shaq team stayed together until Shaq retired, like when Kareem retired? 06 Kobe and Shaq? Even though Shaq was on the bare end? Kobe was averaging 35 points a game at the time. And I think it was so important for him to get away with Shaq. That's how he felt too before his untimely demise. But we got to start having these conversations and asking some questions. Tim Duncan as well. Best power forward of all time. I watched both of them. I saw Tim win. I saw Kobe win. When was it a conversation where we were like, Tim Duncan is so much better or better at all than Kobe Bean Bryant? These conversations were not being had. We all knew that Kobe was the best player in the league. We all knew Kobe was one of the best players of all time. Yes, we know Tim was that too. But I just don't remember those conversations being had. I did say that Jerry Buss was the greatest owner of all time. Jerry West, who drafted Kobe Bean Bryant, ended up leaving the Lakers, I believe, after 99, after 2000, I believe somewhere after, maybe a little later after Phil came, because there was a power dynamic going on between Jerry West and Phil. Jerry West maybe not feeling as appreciated, maybe thinking that the team was veering more in the direction of Phil Jackson and what he was deciding to do with the franchise more so than him. So Jerry West leaves. Insert Mitch Kupchak, who I believe made some great moves. Insert Jim Buss, who I think he gets a bad rap sometimes and somewhat deservingly. Jerry Buss's son, who was head of basketball operations at the time. These are the people, Mitch Kupchak and Jim Buss are the people, along with maybe Rambis around the time too. Somewhere around that time. These were the people making those decisions. What Tim had over there in Spurs in San Antonio was something different in my mind. The organizational structure that Greg Popovich and R.C. Buford had created in San Antonio was amazing. And I think that had a lot to do with Tim's success. Even though individually he was great, yes, those Spurs teams always reloaded and relocked. They were just better at that than a lot of the NBA. Look at how many 60-game winning seasons there were. Can you say Tim Duncan's more adaptable? Can you say Tim Duncan is better for your culture? I guess, but is he more dynamic than a Kobe Bryant? Have we seen some of the highest highs that we've seen from Kobe Bryant happen with Tim Duncan? He's Mr. Consistent and forever respected. But all I'm saying is we got to start having these conversations when Kobe Bryant ends up 11 on the list. What are we doing? How I'm dealing with number 8, Larry Bird. I'm going to deal with him and number 4, Magic Johnson. Now, you could believe me. And what I think, me and my dad still have this argument to this day, which is funny. we have the Magic versus Kobe Bryant argument all the time, he still values Magic and what Magic did way more than what Kobe did. He still has Magic as the greatest Laker ever, but we have had those conversations before. And the thing that I always tell him is, what does Magic Johnson say about it? And he says, yeah, Magic gonna call Kobe the GOAT. Magic is supposed to say stuff like that. Magic is humble in that way. But I really do believe in, like, player for player, it's a hard one. I'm picking Kobe Bryant. And all I'm going to say is that opens the conversation up. It's definitely debatable. And if Kobe's better than Magic, and if Magic's better than Bird, why is Bird number 8 and Kobe Bryant number 11? Please, somebody tell me. That takes me to Wilt Chamberlain. 1 championship. We saw Kobe Bryant win 5 of those things. We saw Kobe Bryant have insane numbers. Yes, Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points a game. Kobe scored 81 in the modern day era. Y'all scoring 70 now in 2024 and 2023 when it's way easier, and y'all still can't get to 81. What did Devin Booker have? 70. Donovan Mitchell had like 70. Luka had 70. And y'all still ain't getting to 81. That tell you the type of scorer that Kobe Bryant was at the time. In 06, we ain't shooting a billion threes. He only shot 13 threes that game. Made 7 of them. 55 points in the second half by itself. So scorers, modern day era, Kobe Bryant's above Wilt Chamberlain. And now let's go to the light skin as our last guy. Like I said, Steph Curry changed the game. Has to be commended. Has to be commended for changing the game and for the impact he's had on the NBA. I ain't never heard nobody in real life talk about Steph Curry better than Kobe Bryant. In what way? Complete basketball players? In what way? Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time, but there is another side of the court. There's another side of the court where this guy was a 12-time all-defensive player as well. As well as being, I feel like, Kobe Bryant more dynamic of a scorer than Steph is, was just as dynamic as a lockdown defender as well, being a 12-time all-defensive player. Being sound defensively, being a student of the game on the defensive side was something that Kobe Bryant took pride in. Asking Scottie Pippen, asking Gary Payton, asking some of the greatest defenders of all time tips to implement into his own game. And even though Steph has become a better defender over time and has learned and picked up things, he's a steals champ. I respect that. But on-ball defense, off-ball defense, pressure on that defensive side, there's no comparison when we're talking about Kobe Bryant and Steph Curry. There's a reason Kyrie Irving got that switch on Steph Curry to hit that shot in 2016 in the finals. I wanted that matchup. I didn't want a Klay Thompson on me or Andre Iguodala that has a longer reach. Get the defenders off of me. Put Steph Curry on me. He's still the MVP that season, yes. Still the best player, one of the best players in the game that season, yes. Not better than LeBron James. And at no point do I think that Steph Curry was the best player in the NBA. Let's talk about that. There was definitely a time where Kobe Bryant was the best player in the NBA. There were years when he was the best player in the NBA. Tell me the year that Steph Curry was the best player in the NBA. So how is he ranked above him when he was never even the best player in the NBA? Y'all gonna tell me that 2016 MVP season he was the best? I think the guy that was playing in Ohio at the time was better than him. I think the guy that was playing in Oklahoma City at the time was better than him. Individually as a player, they were both better than Steph. It's not knocking Steph for being who Steph is. But when we're talking about a Bleacher Report ranking, how is Kobe Bryant out of the top 10? There's been a lot of Kobe Bryant discourse over the last couple of weeks, kind of over the last month. It started with the Tracy McGrady comments, and it just carried over. I think how Kobe Bryant is remembered is different for everybody. He was a selective. Certain people didn't like Kobe when he was alive. Certain people didn't like Kobe and his game. Trust me, I had those conversations in the lunchroom over and over and over again, defending this guy's name. Telling everybody why I believe he was better than everybody else. But just objectively speaking, because I was speaking as a fan back then, I'm trying to speak as objectively as possible right now. 10 players better than Kobe? All time? I'm not going to let nobody rewrite the history of what's going on. That's why I can be objective. That's why I can tell you that Shaq, yes, was the leader in those first 3 championships. But Kobe Bryant as the second option on those teams was just as great. Phil had to tell him to pull it back at times. We had saw Shaq already get into it with Penny. We knew that the power dynamic thing was real. Shaq had to be the guy. That ego had to be massaged. And Kobe had an ego as well. And that ego had to be massaged. And you end up having to pick one. But Kobe showed you who he was after that whole thing. Some people ain't going to show you who they are after they get with somebody like a Shaquille O'Neal. The road Kobe Bryant had after those 3 championships is the reason he solidified himself as a top 10 player. So how do we handicap the guy? Number one, when you have Kareem and Magic in this top 10, they played together for 5 of those championships. I never hear the Magic Johnson sidekick comparisons like I hear about Kobe Bryant when we're talking about greatest of all time. From 4 to 11, there can be an argument made for each and every one of them that Kobe's better than all of them. From 4 to 11. I'll leave the 3 guys there. But somebody gonna have to tell me something. How are these guys better than Kobe? How? Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think. This is another sports podcast. I will be back with a report card for each and every Western Conference Finals team. I saw Luka just signed his deal and extension. Let me talk about that actually real quick before I get out of here. So actually, while I was recording, Luka Doncic signed a contract extension with the Los Angeles Lakers for 3 years, $165 million. This is a report from CBS Sports. The Los Angeles Lakers are signing Luka Doncic to a long-term extension. The team announced on Saturday. It's a 3-year, $165 million contract extension with a player option in 2028. I believe this deal sets him up for like a $400 million payday in 2028. So we kind of knew this move was coming. Luka Doncic, who has completely changed the way he looked, completely changed his appearance throughout this summer, was just on an article with Men's Health talking about what he has changed, what he has implemented. I believe he goes somewhere every summer, and he says he usually just plays basketball, but now he has the whole weight room in there. He has each and everything that he needs in order to not only physically change his appearance and gain weight, but eat the right way as well in order to get maximum results on the court. I think this is going to be an MVP year for Luka Doncic. I think that the Los Angeles Lakers look really, really good. I did not think that they made enough moves with just signing DeAndre Ayton and Jake LaVaria, re-signing Jackson Hayes, and doing some other things, along with losing Dorian Finney-Smith in free agency. I do think that Marcus Smart signing is big for the Los Angeles Lakers and for what they need on the perimeter. Me, and I hope JJ is thinking the same thing, as Austin is all of a 6'5", 6'6". Marcus Smart may be 6'3", 6'4", 6'2". I don't know, but Luka being as tall and as big as he is at 6'8", 6'9", I would start all three of them. Luka, Marcus Smart, and Austin Reeves. Now you have your primary ball handlers in Luka, LeBron, and Austin, but you also have your lockdown defender on the other side. So people are not getting off to good starts. Now you can start Austin, and Austin can start out on the best perimeter person. I think that Austin holds his own on defense, and he does a good job. That's just not his specialty to be a defender. And you want him fresh on the other side of the court. So Marcus Smart is able to take those licks basically from Austin Reeves, and really set a tone defensively to start the game. I think that that's going to be great, along with DeAndre Ayton, who, hey, low motor guy. I'm not sure if I really like him, but having Luka and LeBron and being a lob threat and being a big that you're going to have to just run and catch lobs, and the attention is going to be on those other two guys. So you're going to be getting easy open opportunities. All you have to do is capitalize. I like that as a team. I like Luka Doncic's mentality. It was a report with all the things that are going on with LeBron James this offseason and people not knowing. I know one thing. That man's going to retire a Los Angeles Laker. That's what I believe. That's what I believe with LeBron James. But for Luka Doncic to further solidify that and say that he doesn't want his plans and his planning and what they have in store for the future with him to deviate from them taking care of LeBron James or forcing LeBron James out of the picture. I think him coming out and saying those words and making that very, very clear to LeBron James, to the Lakers organization, is very, very important. So the Los Angeles Lakers look good. Luka Doncic signs his extension. He's lost weight. He's transformed himself. Now we're going to see if he's able to maintain that on the court and play at a high level in the court. Now this is a guy who y'all were saying was fat and out of shape and averaged 32.99 before he was traded last year and then went to the finals. Pretty good basketball player, if I do say so myself. 32.99. So now with a chip on his shoulder, with something to prove, and with I just went over to Bleacher Report's top 10. Is Luka Doncic trying to be a top 10 player of all time, a top 15 player of all time? Some of the numbers that Luka Doncic has already put up: 5-time All-NBA. Very, very crazy resume already. Is he trying to push to be in that upper echelon? And his attitude this summer, how he's handled things, how he's went and did the work, is a true testament to his greatness. And I can't wait to watch this NBA season and see what Luka Doncic is going to do for those Los Angeles Lakers. So I will be coming back with a update of all 30 NBA teams, Eastern, Western Conference, all the off-season acquisitions and additions. But for now, I'm signing out. My name is Cayman. This is another sports podcast. Thank you guys for joining me. Kobe not in the top 10, man. Stop, man.